3, 2, 1. Yeah, we're live. All right, guys. Good morning. Morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Hope
guys.
everyone is excited with this crash we're seeing in the markets. I really do hope everyone is excited with this crash. Yeah, I hope everyone is excited.
Yes,
What I'm laughing about this crash. By the way, for those joining, please GM everyone. Feel free to share the link, and also you can also let us know where you're joining from in the comments. Let us know where you're joining from. Share the link to anyone you want to invite to join. And it would be good to also state the fact that this dump we're seeing in the market today is something we actually looked at yesterday. So these are some of the things you can get insights on when you actually join this live stream that we're doing. Yeah, so let's get started.
This market, we talked about this yesterday. According to the chart, what's happening in the chart, you're supposed to go down, but then we're looking at also some exciting sentiment, fundamental analysis that's happening in the market. Yesterday, before this dump, if you check something, since October, like October 10th, we've been dumping. It's more than a month now.
Yeah. That's why I said yesterday that the market is bearish. The market is actually bearish.
Right. And we've talked about more than 400, is it 400 or 400,000 BTC has been sold, within that period. Now, yesterday, I saw a news that came out. Normally these dumps would always attribute it to something that is happening in the larger market. Now, it was said that a particular OG, I've forgotten his name, that started buying Bitcoin around 2011, has sold a combined total. It was yesterday he's finished selling his bag. Since October, a combined total of 11,000 Bitcoin. And he has made about $1.3 billion. He sold the full bag. Since October, he's been selling. Bro, 11,000 Bitcoin. 11,000 Bitcoin is a whole lot of Bitcoin, guy. I think he sold the last batch, was it yesterday? The news is all over X. So this market, when I think earlier in the week we started by saying OGs are dumping, OGs are selling. These are not like OGs of 5 years ago, OGs of 3 years ago. We are talking about OGs from that bought Bitcoin with small money, right? And they bought a large amount.
But let's be sincere. Even if now you be the OG guy, you let's say you put in $100,000 in BTC, and that 100 is now worth $200 million. Why in God's name will you not sell? Like, why? How greedy can you be again? You understand?
We're talking about 1.3 billion. The guy has since 2011. So
so guy, he's supposed to sell. If I know him, so I would tell him, bro, sell. In fact, it took too long to sell. I would have told him, sell. Because then at that point now, like, I'm sure the amount he used to buy BTC was not up to $1 million, no matter what. It was not even close to that.
Probably 2011 now.
Yeah, probably maybe 10,000 or $20K that maybe he used to buy. And now you're up over $1 billion. You understand? Like, you're up over $1 billion in a space of about 14 years. How many investments in this world can turn $1 million to $1 billion? That's 1,000x in 14 years. I don't think we have up to 2 investments that can actually do that. Even oil and gas will never do that. $1 million. It's only politics. I think politics can actually do that. You get there. Maybe when you talk of probably drugs or some other areas where you don't have lots of persons, and when you can have like some form of manipulation and control.
Monopoly.
Monopoly too in the market. But aside that, in a very legal framework, you're able to turn about $100,000 to over $1 billion in the space of 14 years. Now that's huge. Now that's huge. The person needs to take profits. In fact, even if he's the one crashing the market, kudos to him. He tried.
No. If you look on the bright side,
it looks everyone.
Good. GM guys.
Everyone. Let us know where you're joining from.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, invite someone, cause let us cry together. Cause this back, yes,
Which one?
we
Me,
anticipated it.
I say me no cry. For me,
Well,
everything
see,
that's playing out in the market is it was already
yeah,
expected, like very, very expected.
yeah, whether
Like
you expect it to or not to, you would prefer that your bags is pumping rather than if you go and check your general portfolio, everything is down, or even if it's not down to new lows, it's not pumping. You get so
yeah, yeah.
it's it's
But
quite something else. But
then there's one of
we've looked at this thing from like different angles. Dominance is drastically falling. We've seen the market dominance is falling, which is a good thing. We've seen OGs selling, which is also a good thing because now we should get new buyers that would want to hodl for maybe some time too, right? But
mhm.
this is not. Yeah, they say buy the blood, buy the deep, but people have been buying for more than a month. So, if anybody
But
needs a hug,
you know one crazy thing,
yeah,
I was saying yesterday here, that we said it categorically. We'll still look at the charts. For those joining, feel free to leave questions. We'll still jump to the chart soon. We said this yesterday that the market is bearish. Technical analysis is clearly saying it that it is bearish. We are going down lower. Once we break the previous low, which is 88K, we are going lower towards 82, 83. And if we fail to hold that level, we'll go to like 75. Like we said it yesterday. And I said it specifically that the only reason why there's a glimpse of bounce is because of the news from Trump, the moves he had been making, and also I did like a brief correlation with the stock market. S&P 500 pumping, NAS 30, NAS 100 pumping. Now here's the crazy part. Yesterday evening, all of them started dumping. They even started dumping before BTC. I don't know if you get. They started this same stuff I was saying yesterday. Because yesterday I was saying it. People can go and check the chat. Yesterday I was saying it that why we just have that glimpse of a bounce is because of the news from Trump, and the market reacted to that news from day before yesterday. You get it reacted from day before, that's Wednesday evening. It reacted, and S&P 500 started pumping, as 30, as 100 started pumping, and BTC too reacted, started pumping too. You understand? Now, if that is sustainable, all that is left is just for us to break above 96K before I can say, okay, yeah, we're about going up again. Okay, but fast forward to yesterday evening, after we had this live stream, that NAS 500, S&P 500 rather, crashed, started dumping. NAS 30 started dumping, NAS 100 started dumping. BTC also started going back to that 88K. And immediately it got back there and it could not hold. We crashed through it. And for me now, I didn't take the other shots. I said it here that I was not going to take it. That I'm
the
just
short trade, yeah.
skeptical. Yeah, so I didn't take it. But immediately we broke below that 88K. I started hunting for shots. Started looking for shots. Immediately we broke below there. Because it was obvious that we would crash to like 82, 83, which BTC this morning reached $81,000. Like this morning, we actually touched 81,000, probably an hour ago there about we touched $81,000. So there's nothing happening here that we did not that's happening today that we didn't see it yesterday. You get, and we have not been saying it on this live stream, which is why it is very important for people to like join these live streams. Like it's really, really important. You bring your questions and we look at those things. If you want us to look at some charts, fantastic. And one of the projects, because yesterday before the market started crashing, we saw Dimension. I saw Dimension pumping. I couldn't understand why, but later on,
Dimension, yeah, even Tensor.
I couldn't understand why they were pumping. I checked the news, there was nothing specific. So I just left it. But later on, one of the projects that we are bullish on, that we've been saying that it has been so undervalued for long, started pumping. NMR broke out, because I've been saying it here since the NMR is just trying to break out. That's what has been holding. NMR broke out yesterday evening and pumped to about, it was at $10, it broke out and pumped to about 15 point something dollar. Then this morning that BTC has continued its dump to 91K, it has dragged it a bit to $13. But NMR broke out because you remember last week I said something that NMR actually raised when you were talking of repo raising $500 million. I said that NMR also raised $500 million, and they used I think $1 million to do buyback in August or so. So that stuff is not even priced in because NMR should be above $20 already. But because of this whole market dragging the price of some other alts down, that was why NMR was still at 10, 11. And since that October, after it went to that 11, it has held that position for so long. It has refused to crash, even when other alts have been crashing. Because of it is still very undervalued. So it's one of those projects that we've said it's that when once the market stabilizes, it should pump. Like when once the
But
market
you know
stabilizes.
that this pump, they're like a few tokens at this pump didn't really affect. Like if you check
Yeah,
Zcash, Zcash is still doing okay. If you
exactly.
check Sura is also very good for swing because Sura has almost gotten back to the point where
Yeah,
it will get you maybe 20 to 30% of swing,
yeah,
which is really really fantastic. Now, for those that want to take risk, because we are talking about Dimension. Dimension is one of those projects that most people have forgotten. Maybe there's not much happening in Dimension. It's Chain Opera. Because right now, Chain Opera has crashed. So if you have money that, okay, I want to risk maybe this $50 or $100, maybe you can maybe make 3x, 4x, even 10x from it. Because if we know one thing with Chain Opera is with price manipulation, right? And whether
yeah,
in this dump or outside this dump, Chain Opera's trading volume on DEX has not been anything less than $20 million on a daily basis, right? Sometimes you see it shoot up to 80 to 100 million, right? So meaning they have like market makers and all that stuff. So they can decide to tank this price because at the price it is now, 46 cents. So it's for me, it's a good gamble, right? Because the risk to reward, we are talking about a token that got up to is it about $30 or $60 even. So right now
yeah.
it's really really at a juicy price. So for those that wants to take that risk or look into it, yeah, you're free to do so.
Yeah, so let's jump into the charts a bit before we go and look at coins that are trending and some other coins that really didn't affect. Let's look at the charts. So if you notice yesterday, we looked at this chart yesterday, this BTC LTC charts. You get that, and it's plotted against the price of BTC. If you look at this, because I've said it severally that Litecoin is yet to break out, like it's yet to break out. That's the challenge. And once a coin breaks out, be rest assured that it will pump real good and it won't be affected by most of the dumps. Now, if you notice, this was yesterday, and because this is okay, this is on a weekly. Sorry, so this is not yesterday. This was first week of November, November 10th, first week of November when it tried to break out, and since then it's been unable to. But if you look at the chart, you find that the chart still wants to make an attempt to go above this. So for me, when I say I'm bullish on Litecoin, this is why I'm still bullish on it. The chart looks good when you chart it against BTC. So what this means is even if here BTC might still be going down, it gets to a point where LTC will start outperforming BTC, like in the case of Zcash. If you should look at Zcash BTC chart, I don't have that here though. I've not charted that. But if you should look at it, it's obvious that Zcash has been outperforming BTC. Let me see if I can see that chart. Let me just see if I can bring it up. Okay, so this is it. Let's look at it here. Perfect. So this is Zcash BTC chart. It is very, very clear. You can see it. Zcash has been outperforming BTC. Like Zcash is against BTC. It has been outperforming it. And as it is creating new highs or breaking the resistance that it had at different levels, you can see how it's continued to have like a sustained bump. While it was doing all of that, it kept having like sustained bump. You can see it from the very first point that it broke out. I think this is like the first major area that Zcash broke out, and this was when This was 6th of October against BTC. This was when like it did like a major breakout, while these other ones are like smaller breakouts. So you can see when Zcash finally broke out properly. First breakout was September 28th. That was the first breakout. And after it just kept breaking other zones. So you can see it clearly. When you plot Zcash charts against BTC, Zcash is very, very, very bullish against BTC. Now, when you look at that of LTC, you find that LTC own is yet to break out. So can I bring down the LTC chart again? I don't know if I can find it. We're just looking at it a few minutes ago here. Okay, I don't think I can find it, but we're just looking at it. I can't find it here. But yeah, you find out that LTC is actually yet to break out. And when once we get that breakout, it's going to be like a very, very solid bump, like really good bump. So let's look at the BTC chart. Now, if we look at this BTC chart, this is a weekly chart, by the way. You can see what's happening here. That's why most times it's good to pay attention to the charts. You can observe what's happening. It's on a free fall. Like if you look at weekly, that's why most times you don't need to be biased when trading. Like just sometimes just look at the charts. If you go to last year, earlier this year, April this year, you can see lots of green every week. It was green, 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 green every week. There was almost no red week. It was green all the way, about straight 8 weeks or thereabout. Now, if you come to this fourth quarter that we're in, you find out that it's been red weeks, like red, back to back red from October. Each week has been giving you a lower low. Each week has been giving you a lower low. And you find out that this was the previous support that was supposed to hold around 98, 99, but it failed and it kept going down. And right now, this is the target. This is actually the target, which was why we told you guys even yesterday. I'll go down to the daily time frame so we'll also look at it yesterday. But before I get there, this is like the target. Now, this is the next major support we have, which it has almost gotten there because today BTC dumped to like 91k. So you can see it, 91k. That's where we actually dumped to. So if I'm to go to like daily, you can see it every day. We've been getting like low, almost every day. In fact, for the past about 10 days, we've only had 2 green days, which was on Tuesday this week and on Saturday, last week, Saturday. Afterwards, for the past 10 days, it's been red. These are like very important things you need to check, like very, very important. Sometimes fundamentals can be able to give you like a brief bounce or change the whole stuff that the technical analysis is showing. If it's strong enough, it can do that. But some other times it might not. Now, the trade we're anticipating to have, I think that was earlier this week. This was it. Earlier this week, this was what we were anticipating to short from. If you guys remember, earlier this week, which day was this? This was on Monday that we drew this, and it didn't come to this our point. It crashed, it didn't return. Let me go to the 4 hours. To the 4 hours. Yeah, it didn't come to this point and it crashed. Now, after which we had a brief long, which we escaped with 1-to-1. Then after which I took this trade. This one wasn't shared actually because this was at night. I think day before yesterday night. Now, yesterday we actually shared this, that if we were to short the market, this is the trade we take. We shared this like yesterday. It was still at the entry yesterday when we shared it. It was exactly here when we actually drew this chart yesterday. But I said it specifically that I would not take the trade. Or anyone that wants to short, this is like a perfect setup yesterday, which Spessner said that for him it's perfect and he was going to take it. But me, I said I won't take it. And my only reason was because of the news from Trump and the fact that S&P 500 was pumping as 30, as 100, they were all pumping. and that news gave BTC this bounce, which was a trade I took the night before and I'd closed out. So I was a bit skeptical that if the momentum of that news is strong enough, we might go past this resistance. But at the same time, we're not bullish because we have not broken past this resistance. I can only say we're bullish short term if we go past this. But what the chart is saying is we're going down. That's what the chart is saying. But if you look at fundamental analysis, it might give us a break above this. That was what we said yesterday. But towards the end of yesterday evening, we actually went all the way down. And I said it yesterday that as long as this support holds, we can see a bounce, and which might make us go above this previous high that we had. Only if this support holds. But if this support fails, we're going all the way down. And the support failed. So immediately support failed yesterday evening, I started searching for like shorts. Basically, this one, I didn't take it. I started hunting for shorts. Immediately it failed. I started hunting for shorts. So you can see I was able to like get the first one. Yeah, I took this first one and I got the second one too, which is this one. Yeah, and this one was very, very fast actually. This was fast. This was this morning. And next thing it just went all the way down to almost 81K. Yeah, so most times you need to be more logical when trading the markets. Like it's very, very important. You need to be very, very logical when trading the markets. Like it's really, really important. Most persons they are too emotional when they are trading. They are just too emotional, and that can make you land unnecessary losses, like very, very unnecessary losses. You need to follow the trend. Although this live stream is not to teach people how to trade, by the way, but this is just like a brief analysis. Yeah, so Spencer, I don't know, do you have some things you want to say? I'm shocked that it's already 20 minutes.
Well, the whole thing here is most persons, if you check the charts that our current chart on online, the question is, or the concern is, should we start getting into buying valuable tokens at these prices, or should we wait for market direction? That's what most people want to know, right? Because if you remember a few days ago, I talked about the fact that you can decide to go all in on a particular price of a token that you like, only for a few days for you to get a better entry, right? And it as
Yeah,
if that's what's been happening, because you could see maybe she saw Ori at 1.3 and you'd be like, oh, this is fantastic price. I could never believe Ori to be this price. You go all in, we are seeing Ori at $1.1, $1. It would be like, ah, man, I would have waited maybe a few more days for this particular thing. So my take is, you can either play this one of two ways, which is one, you DCA. DCA basically just cuts down your entry point. So if you have $100 and let's say you saw Ori at 1.3, you probably use $25, buy at 1.3. Now that it has dumped to say $1, $1.1, use another $25 and buy it, right? Because the market is looking bad, so you might as well split that your $100, 4 ways, right? And if for any
yeah,
reason Ori starts pumping and it's now 1.5, you could decide to buy with the rest of your $50, or you could decide to keep your $50 and be glad you already have exposure of $50 more in Ori token. Or the second way you can play the whole market is just wait. The money, your money is your money, right? You just wait. By the time Bitcoin starts pumping, or you start seeing green in the market, or the sentiment starts getting better, or you're convinced that everything is okay now, then you can use your money now and start buying. But people prefer that. It makes them feel good. Now, this is the emotion that Solomon is talking of, right? Sometimes investment might not make you feel good, right? Some other time you might be feeling like you're at the top of the world. So it's basically what you want to do. Are you looking at swinging? If you're looking to swing, DCA for swinging would not work, because swinging is just quick in and out, right? So if you're swinging, let's say if you're swinging for 25 to 30%, you should set a stop loss maybe at maybe 5 or 10% loss, right? When you hit your loss, take the loss and wait, right? But if it doesn't hit your loss and you make some profit, good. Take your profit because it's swing. You're not holding the bag. So this market is not, like we said, it's going down, but we are still getting good sentimental information and news coming in. So sometimes it makes it tricky to make a quick decision, right? Oh, there are good news coming about around for Bitcoin. There are, stocks coming out for Bitcoin, but at the same time, Bitcoin's price is going down. So you just have to find a way to balance these two things. It will be tough, but this is what we are playing at. It's either you're playing the long-term game, right, or you're just swinging and getting in and getting out of tokens.
Okay. Yeah, so there's something and people should note. On my screen, you can see, I don't know, you can see my chart, right? You can see the chart on the
Yes, I
screen,
can see
right?
your chart.
Yeah, so there's also something people should know. Most times people don't pay attention to technical analysis, which you can't actually write technical analysis off because it shows you what is happening. It's more of like, the way you pull up your spending analysis most times to see how you're spending your money every month. And by the time you start looking at the data, you'll now find out that, wow, this is what costs me the most. Then when you now put it on like a pie chart or a bar chart, it becomes clearer. That's exactly what technical analysis does. It just shows you what is really happening in the market. So for example, now you look at the BTC chart. This is on a monthly time frame. This is a monthly time frame. Now, if you notice something, you'll find out that just this month, November, just the month of November, it has cancelled out what we saw from the month of April all the way to the month of July. Like all the pumps and green we saw from April all the way to like July. This month of November has cancelled everything with one huge dump. Yeah, like it is so clear. Now that's what technical analysis will show you. You can be able to see it clearly what it has done. And you can see it also too that going by this monthly charts, for you to tell if are we still bullish or not, going by the monthly charts to confirm if we are still bullish, you'll see that yes, we're still bullish because the last leg that gave us the bump and the break above the previous high, that leg started from $73,000. So you can say BTC is bearish once we go once we go below $73,000. You can now say Bitcoin is now bearish. The structure is now messed up. You get now that's the whole aim of larger time frame, like zooming out. Then another thing too you should understand is this: if BTC could dump in 1 month, canceling the progress from about 5 months, then it is also possible for it to pump in 1 month and cancel the dump too. Like it's very possible. Just like you're seeing this huge red now, you can still see another huge green that would cancel this out, or 2 green that would cancel this out. It's very possible. But a fact that you should note is as long as we haven't gone below this yellow line or cream line, whichever, that is at 73K. That's where the line is at, around 73K, which is the low on the monthly chart. As long as we haven't gone below it, Bitcoin structure is still good. It's still bullish. But once we break below this, then you can now say, wow, we're bearish. So what that means in a nutshell is, this is not the aim of this live stream, by the way, but let me just say this all round up. What that means is if we close below this line, we close below it, there's every chance that you can see a pump all the way to 100K or even slightly above 100K. But the next low that pump would print would be a lower low that will be below 73K or below the one that this candle printed. So for those that are wondering, are we still bullish, are we still bearish, and all of those things, this is the major thing you should be looking at. As long as we're not going below that 73K, we're good. The structure is still good on the monthly time frame. And it's worth noting that each time frame has a different story. But to get the bigger and broader picture, you zoom out. You zoom out. If it's someone that is looking at them a weekly, you still see that yes, it's been bearish, bearish, bearish on the weekly time frame too. In fact, for the weekly time frame, when it's broke below this, it became bearish for a weekly time frame. I was most likely going to come to this zone you get for people that trade weekly. When you move to daily, similar thing too. You see like a different story too on the daily time frame. You see a different story, which shows you that it's been all the way short, 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 till you see like a confirmed bounce. When you go to 4 hours or 1 hour, still like a similar thing too. But right now, most traders, what they are looking at is this zone. Anything that will make them jump back into this market is should they get a confirmation that the market is actually reversing. That's when they'll get bullish. But most persons are already buying, they're already accumulating because they believe that it's inevitable, would eventually bounce one way or the other. But if you're following the chart, this is the zone you should be looking at. Yeah, so I think that's all based on looking at the chart. So I think I'll just share for us to look at some other. We'll be rounding up in about 3 minutes or thereabouts. We'll take questions shortly, please. Let's just look at the coins that pumped yesterday. BTC is still going down, by the way. So that's why I said we were not surprised when we saw that dump. It's something we said yesterday. We're not surprised. I'm not even surprised. I'm not. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen. Okay, so we saw the likes of Tensor, Dimension pumping yesterday. I'm not holding either of them. And a few others, also even Cassie, saw them pumping. But the one I know I'm holding and which we have spoken about is NMR. NMR pumped above even $15. Pumped above 15. Okay, here's 14 points on KuCoin. Pumped above $15. I think also on Binance. I think it got to about 15 point something there. Yeah, because of it broke out and they started dropping tweets about the funds they raised and all of those things. So it's quite interesting to see some altcoins break out against BTC. Like it's really, really interesting because either BTC is dumping or not. There are some altcoins that would obviously try to be like the winners that would actually start pumping within that time frame. Yeah, they'll start pumping, or once BTC begins to stabilize, they will actually start pumping. And if you've been following us and be tuning in, you'll find out that you have an idea of those altcoins. Would have mentioned some of them. So just briefly to look at Sora. Just briefly to look at Sora. Now, if you notice one thing, we've been swinging this Sora for some days now. Notice, despite this whole BTC crash and all, it's still holding above 2M. Like it's really, really still holding above 2M despite all of this. If you're to look at eval, we'll take questions after this, please. Eval is still not at my interest zone. I've been bringing up this eval since it was above 2M, and I've stated it clearly where I'm interested in jumping in. It's not yet at that price. So that's why you also need to have that patience. For me, it's not yet there. I need it to crash to like 5 something 600, at least there. 5 something 600. That's where I'll be very, very interested. It hasn't gotten to that point yet. So these are like some things that you should pay attention to. You should be very, very disciplined when it comes to your entry points for most of these projects. So let's take some questions before we round up. We spent over 30 minutes here already. Someone said, okay, my portfolio is walking down. Yeah, I can understand. As long as it's your long-term portfolio, it's definitely be down. That's for sure. The bags that you're accumulating, hodling, those ones will definitely be down. So that's the whole point of DCA. So once the market begins to pick up, before it even gets to the previous price you bought, if you did DCA, you find out that by the time it's getting to where you start accumulating, you've been in like very, very good profits. Like This person said I didn't even cry this morning. Okay, so based on the current market bearish sentiment, is it better to buy the dip or wait to see a market direction? Only for solid projects. Only for solid projects. So we've said it severally. There are projects that it is this dip that would give you like good entry points. For example, look at AR. For example, AR is back to the price it was when BTC was at 99K, because when BTC held 92K, maybe 94K, a little, it pumped to almost $8. That was last week. But now that BTC has dragged down to 83, it has come back to like 3.7, 3.8, which was where it took off from to $8 last week. So that gives you an idea. What are the odds that you see AR at 3 point something dollars, if not because of this whole thing that BTC is doing? And if you guys recall vividly, ARO as at April this year, April, it was at 3 point something. That period I was saying, if only it can crash to $2, let me buy more. If only it can crash. It never dropped to $2. It stopped at that 3 points, and eventually it pumped above, I think it pumped up around 9 point something dollars afterwards. Pumped like 9 points or thereabouts, I think, afterwards. And now we are back to that 3 point something again. So once you're able to identify those solid projects and you understand that BTC gives you fantastic entry points for them, you take advantage of it. You just have to take advantage of it. You seize the opportunity, either for futures trading or sports. You seize the opportunity. The only advantage of the sports over futures is the fact that you can't be taken out based on stop loss. You can't be taken out as long as you're holding it. Eventually, into this year, eventually it gets back to your entry point. But for futures, you wouldn't, and you'll be charged fees. Even if for futures you're trading without stop loss and you're doing DCA in futures, adding more positions as it's going lower, you're being charged fees and you're paying those fees. So there's a cost for you holding that particular position. There's actually like a cost real time, which is like the fees. Someone is saying, is the market going to dump more or will it pump a bit before dumping again? Truthfully, it might give like a relief pump before dumping again. But when it's about to break out, because of this daily live stream we do, you guys would obviously know, because we'll be able to spot when it will kind of like break out of the downward trend structure, either on the 1 hour time frame or 4 hour time frame. We'll be able to spot that. But for now, we're still printing lower lows candles for now. Please, is it good to go into solid memes? Sincerely, memes, I can't advise anybody now to buy memes. Sincerely, I can't, because memes are one of the most volatile in this kind of market conditions. They can pump crazy, they can dump crazy. If it's memes, I was holding, maybe some of my bags would have been like 95% down. Yet that's how brutal memes can be. Crypto market performance is not falling past historical figures, but completely neutered. I stated that earlier this year, where I was saying we will be in like an extended bull market. The whole circle, everything is breaking out, is shifting, and things are changing drastically. If you look at some other factors which most persons don't talk about, how many million tokens did we have 5 years ago? How many tokens do we have now? How much liquidity is there to go around? You find out that now we have more than 5 million tokens, whereas some years ago we had barely 20,000 tokens. Yeah, so these are things you should factor in, and these tokens are also taking liquidity. So liquidity is massively fragmented, like massive. Even if yes, there's new money coming in, but it's massively fragmented, and most of these projects are not bringing in any value. No value, it's just pump and dump. So these are like some things you should factor in. So it's only natural that the market would like change drastically, not just in a little way, to change like drastically. So a time would come when people even gradually pivot to solid projects. You recall sometime last year when people were saying alts are dead, utility is dead, it's all memes, and I was saying no. Naturally, a time would come when people will just pivot to utility projects that have solid structure and value. It's just a natural thing. You get that are very, very sustainable. Same way people are beginning to pivot to some OG projects, because they've looked at these projects have been around. They have a working structure. they have a foundation. In fact, these projects are, to an extent, a truly decentralized projects because they have a foundation, they have a means of funding, they have a community that's been around for over 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Yeah, so a time will come, those are the projects you see that will be pumping and be doing well. You understand? So people need to grow with the market. It's very, very important. Someone is asking, confirm if it's advisable. Sora is a good, yeah, it's a good entry for swing. We've spoken about them, so I think 2 days ago we spoke about it. Please, are you trying to say that in NMR ago? We've been seeing NMR since now. We've been seeing it since at $10, 10.5. Like since we've been seeing it. Confirm if LTC positive price action is still is still good. Also, LTC has privacy options. Now, yes, LTC has privacy options via Mimbo Bimbo, I be what they call it, MMEW, something like that. And they have a privacy feature where you can mask your transactions and all. And it's available via their Nexus wallet and I think Kick wallet and one other wallet too. Just give us memes to swing, I beg. I've not thought of trading memes in a while though, but maybe I might look at it, but I haven't thought of trading memes in a while. Sora contract, please. We posted it in the community. So for those that are not part of the community, the link is usually attached to this video. Maybe once the live stream is done, we tend to attach the link so you can be able to like join the community or post most of those stuffs. Please, can you tell at least some projects we can use for swings? We'll drop that in the community. We'll actually drop that in the community. So I think this is all we're taking for today. We spent over 40 minutes. This is intended to be just 20 minutes, but we've actually spent over 40 minutes. So for those that joined, it's always a pleasure listening to you and joining and sharing ideas and having you guys listen to us. It's always a pleasure. And we intend to make this more interactive as time progresses. Feel free, invite anyone you want to. It's very, very important. Invite them. If they have questions, they should come with their questions. You can feel free to tweet the link wherever you're watching from. Like, share, subscribe to the channel or follow anyone. And soon we'll start having other speakers that will also join to share insights and ideas and also opportunities. Soon I will start also doing that. Especially, I don't know if you have questions or contributions or any final words.
No. Let's just see how the rest of the day progresses, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
All right, guys. So see you guys tomorrow morning, same time. No. Today is Friday. Today is actually Friday.
So
it's Monday.
It's going to be on Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday. We don't do this on Saturdays and Sundays. So what we do on Sundays is Clubhouse. We do Clubhouse on Sundays. So we're not doing this. So it's Monday. That's when we'll do the live stream. And another thing people forget is, I said this on Wednesday that the market dumps on Fridays. Again, once we are going into Friday, the market tends to dump. So as you're entering Friday, you're seeing like a dump. I said this, whereas on Sundays, Mondays, the market tends to pump. So people that factor this in, you'll find out that it will save you maybe certain things. If you're a futures trader, you will not be attempting or trying to go long on a Thursday when you know the next day is Friday. When traditionally, if there are 10 Fridays, about 7, the market will dump. It's probably 3 that the market will pump. So you will not be attempting to do that. Yeah, so see, these are like some of the common things that you pick along the line when you're joining this live stream, and also if you're a trader, you just tend to find out some of these things. So there are people that they just use that and they factor it into the analysis. If it aligns with what they are seeing on the chart and it is falling on a Sunday or Monday, they will long. If it aligns with what they are seeing on the chart and it's falling on a Thursday or Friday, they will short. There are people that's also what to do. So yeah, that's all for today. Bye guys, and see you on Monday.
Bye guys.